We hate the cage, but we love the bird that dares to fly, even if it is a crow. We love villains not for their evil, but for their freedom. They are a mirror of the shadow we repress, the no we long to say, the chaos we wish to unleash. The hero is bound by morality, by law, by compassion. The villain is free. This is not a story about good versus evil. It is the story of our dangerous attraction to chaos. To understand this seduction, we must first understand what the cage is. The cage is not made of steel. It is made of conformity. It is made of good morning to the boss we despise, of fake smiles in useless meetings, of silently nodding at the family dinner when things are said that turn our stomachs. The cage is the social contract, and it is exhausting. Civilization is built upon repression. It is the great Faustian pact we all sign at birth. We sacrifice 99% of our true selves, our primal anger, raw ambition, lust, laziness, in exchange for two things: security and acceptance. Carl Jung called this sacrificed being the shadow. It is the dark basement of our psyche, where we lock away all the parts of ourselves that are unacceptable. Freud called it the id, the beast of pure impulses. We live our lives ensuring that this basement door remains locked. Being good is largely the act of being a good jailer. The hero is the ideal jailer. He is the epitome of the superego. He is a man or woman who has repressed their shadow so perfectly that they become a symbol of the social contract. They fight for the cage. They fight for the rules. And then enters the villain. The villain is the catharsis of our exhaustion. He is the individual who looks at the cage, examines it, laughs at it, and sets it on fire. He is the embodiment of the unmanipulable individual. He is pathologically authentic, not to a moral code or a higher good, but to his own desires. And there is nothing more terrifying, nor more seductive, than a human being who has completely eliminated the need for others' approval. The villain is the liberated shadow, and we love him because he is a glimpse of what we would be if we stopped pretending. There is no better example of this terrifying authenticity than Heath Ledger's Joker. The Joker is not a character. He is a philosophical force. We love him not because he is funny, but because he is the only honest character in a world of hypocrites. Gotham City is a system built on layers of lies. The mafia's lie, pretending to have rules and respectability. The police's lie, pretending that the law is the same for everyone. Harvey Dent's lie, the White Knight, pretending that justice can be achieved by following the manual. And Bruce Wayne's lie, pretending that a man can fix a broken city by dressing as a bat, but without killing. In this theater of masks, the Joker enters with his face painted. His clown paint is the most honest mask of all because it is an open mockery of the concept of face. He admits that it is a farce. He is the truth, and he uses that truth as a scalpel. Observe his first scene with the mafia. He is not there to negotiate. He is there to expose their hypocrisy. They mock his painting, his clothes. He responds with the magic trick of the pencil. That act is not senseless chaos. It is a critique. It is an act of dark psychology. He is telling them, you who think you are crime bosses have become soft. You have become civilized. You gather in boardrooms in broad daylight. I am the real monster. I am what you pretend to be. He does not want money. He burns his part of the loot. He burns a literal mountain of money to the horror of the gangster. Why? To prove a point. It's not about money, he says. It's about sending a message. He does not want territorial power. He kills mafia bosses. He cannot be bought, cannot be threatened, cannot be negotiated. He is a dog off the leash. He is, as he himself says, an agent of chaos. And he seduces us because his chaos has a philosophical purpose. He wants to demonstrate that civilization, morality, rules are a bad joke, a thin layer of ice over a deep ocean of anarchy. When he tells Batman, your principles, your rules, are a bad joke. You will abandon them as soon as you find yourself in trouble. He is not lying. He is preaching his gospel. His masterpiece is the hospital. He doesn't just kill Harvey Dent. He transforms him. He gives him a sermon about the true nature of justice. He says, the only justice is chance. I'm a dog chasing cars. Do you know what I would do if I caught one? I wouldn't, because it's not about the outcome, it's about the act. He gives Dent the psychological permission to unleash his own shadow. He gives him the power of the coin, and his social experiment on the ferries is his final sermon. It is a laboratory test of his thesis. He is trying to scientifically demonstrate that with enough pressure, any civilized citizen, any member of the cage, will become a monster to survive. He almost succeeds. We see the hand of the common citizen trembling over the detonator. And that image horrifies us because we know that deep down, a part of us would also have considered pressing it. We love the Joker because he is a philosophical terrorist. His evil is a form of radical critique. He is the anarchist who dares to burn the system that we only dare to criticize quietly. He is the embodiment of our repressed desire to say, to hell with everything. He is absolute freedom, and although that freedom is monstrous, a part of us cannot help but admire it. But this chaotic authenticity is only the first layer of seduction. Chaos is fascinating, but also exhausting. And for most of us, the Joker's freedom is too anarchic. Our attraction to him is like an attraction to a wildfire. We admire it from a safe distance. Beneath this layer lies something even more addictive. It is not the fantasy of chaotic freedom. It is the fantasy of absolute control. It is the weapon of power. Most of us live lives of silent helplessness. We are cogs in a machine we do not control. We obey our bosses, follow rules we did not write, pay taxes to systems we despise. We are pawns in others' games. Even the hero is often a pawn. He is a slave to necessity, a puppet of circumstances. The hero reacts. The city is attacked, and he responds. Evil emerges, and he fights it. He is a perpetual firefighter, running from one fire to another, always a step behind. The villain? No. The villain does not react. The villain acts. The villain has a plan, has an agenda, has a will so pure and so strong that it tries to bend reality itself around him. The hero tries to save the world. The villain tries to remake it in his image. And this fantasy of absolute agency, of total competence, is perhaps the deepest seduction of all. There is no better embodiment of this fantasy of intellectual power than Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Lecter is the seduction of supreme competence. In The Silence of the Lambs, we find him in the place of maximum helplessness, a maximum security cell in a medieval madhouse, in a basement, behind a glass wall. And yet, he is the most powerful person in every scene. He is the puppet master. His cage is not a prison. It is a throne. From his cell, he exercises a panoptic control, not only over the other prisoners, but over his guards. His power is not physical, it is mental. His calmness is a weapon. His refusal to be provoked is a demonstration of superiority. His refined taste for art, music, and cooking is an intellectual shield. It is a way of saying, you are not my captors, you are my guests, and I find you in poor taste. We do not love Hannibal despite him eating people. We love Hannibal because he can psychologically destroy an arrogant bureaucrat like Dr. Chilton with 3 sentences. We love Hannibal because, while trapped in a cage, he can orchestrate such a meticulous, brilliant, and brutally artistic escape that it transcends murder and becomes a performance. The image of the guard hanging from the cage, gutted and spread out like a bloody angel to box music, is not just violence. It is an aesthetic statement. It is power. When Senator Martin tries to appeal to him with the arrogance of political power, he dismantles her. He reduces her from senator to a simple nursing mother and expels her from his presence. He is true power. It is the fantasy of being so intelligent, so competent, that the hierarchies of the real world, Money, politics, prisons become irrelevant. It is the power of the mind over matter. And this fantasy of the superhuman intellectual is not limited to Lecter. Let's think of Ozymandias from Watchmen. He is the villain who wins. He is so intelligent that he devises a plan to save the world by killing millions, and executes it before the heroes even understand the game. His famous line, "I did it 35 minutes ago," is the orgasm of competition. It is the power of a god. Or take Agent Smith in The Matrix. The seductiveness of Smith is not just his virus philosophy, but his will. He is the only program that develops its own purpose. It breaks free from its cage, the system itself, and becomes a force of nature, a predator with a plan. Even Thanos, in the Marvel universe. He is a genocidal titan, but his main characteristic is his will. He has a cosmic plan, a philosophy, albeit twisted, and executes it with methodical and unstoppable precision. He is the main driving force of the entire saga. We love these villains because they are the embodiment of pure agency. They are what our powerless lives long to be: competent, effective, capable of imposing our will in a chaotic world. But this intellectual power is cold. This competence is admirable, but hard to love. It is difficult to feel empathy for a god like Lecter or for a force of nature like the Joker. We can admire them, fear them, even secretly agree with them. But for us to truly open our hearts to the monster, to justify our attraction on a visceral level, we need permission. We need an excuse. And that excuse is the most manipulative weapon of all: tragedy. This is the lie we tell ourselves, the narrative we long for, to be able to love evil without feeling guilty. It is the difference between a monster that is born and a monster that is made. If the villain is pure evil, it is fascinating, but psychologically distant. But if he is wounded, if his cruelty is the oozing scar of unbearable pain, he becomes irresistible. Tragedy is a Trojan horse. It allows us to lower our moral defenses and let empathy in. And once empathy is inside the walls of our city, the monster hiding within, anger, revenge, destruction, runs free. We enjoy his wave of destruction, but we lie to ourselves. We tell ourselves that we are not enjoying the violence. We are understanding the pain that causes it. This justification allows us to do two things at once. It gives us front row seats to chaos, and at the same time makes us feel morally superior for being so understanding. Let's take the master of tragedy, Magneto. Eric Lenser is a global terrorist. He is a mutant supremacist. He is willing to commit genocides against humanity to achieve his goals. Objectively, he is an unequivocal villain. We should hate him, but we cannot. Because the first time we see him, he is not a terrorist. He is a small child, separated from his parents at the gates of Auschwitz. We do not see a monster. We see a victim. His entire philosophy, his outright no to humanity, wasn't born from ambition. It was born in extermination camps. He saw his family murdered, not by demons, but by civilized humans who only followed orders. His pain is so deep, his rage so justified, that when he wages his war against humanity, part of us is on his side. When Charles Xavier, the hero, pleads for peace and coexistence, we see him as a naive idealist. When Magneto responds that peace is only the prelude to the next gas chamber, we see him as a tragic realist. His pain is the permission we give ourselves. When he unleashes his power, we are not seeing a villain destroying the world. We are seeing a Holocaust survivor taking his revenge. And a dark part of us whispers, they deserve what they get. Or consider the greatest tragic villain of pop culture, Darth Vader. In the original trilogy, he is the embodiment of evil. He is the enforcer of a galactic fascist empire. He is a thug who chokes his subordinates for failing. He is an accomplice in the destruction of an entire planet. But even then, the allure of his mystery is palpable. Then, we learn the truth. He is a fallen angel. He was Anakin Skywalker, the prophesied hero, the chosen one. And his fall was not due to greed or power. It was for love. It was for the fear of loss. He was a man betrayed by the cold dogma of his Jedi mentors, who demanded he suppress his emotions. He was a broken soul, seduced by an older evil, Palpatine, who promised him the only thing he wanted, the power to save the woman he loved. And he failed. He lost everything. And what remained was literally reconstructed as a monster. The black armor is not a uniform. It is a prison. It is a life support system that reminds him of his failure with every artificial breath. We do not see a monster. We see a prisoner inside his own armor. That is why we spend 3 movies not expecting his defeat, but his redemption. The tragedy gives us permission to forgive genocide. We want the son to save the father. We want Anakin to return. His tragedy allows us to love the man trapped inside the monster. This tragic justification allows us to love the monster while feeling good about ourselves. But this love is based on pity. It is based on justification. What happens when the villain has no justification? What happens when he has no tragedy to explain him? What happens when his evil is pure, hedonistic, and yet we desire it? This leads us to the realm of taboo, to the weapon of forbidden desire. Our social contract not only represses our anger and authenticity, perhaps more fundamentally, it represses our pleasure. Civilization, especially Western civilization, is built on a puritanical foundation. From birth, we are taught the virtue of sacrifice, the nobility of humility, the morality of chastity, and the ethics of hard work. The 7 deadly sins, pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth, are not just a list of religious warnings. They are the foundations of the cage. They are the primary impulses that we must chain to be considered good. The hero is the model prisoner of this moral cage. He must be humble, rejects praise. He must be sacrificial, puts others' needs before his own. He must be poor or, if rich, not enjoy it. Bruce Wayne lives as an ascetic. Tony Stark must evolve beyond his hedonism. The hero is glorified repression, and the villain feasts. The villain is the celebration of the 7 deadly sins. It is the liberation of our Freudian ED. It is the fantasy of giving in to every dark impulse, not with guilt, but with joy. There is no better archetype of this than the ultimate seductive predator, the vampire, Dracula. He is the personification of forbidden seduction. He is the antithesis of Victorian morality. He is pride, an aristocrat, a count, an ancient lineage that despises the modern bourgeoisie like Jonathan Harker. His pride is his power. He is greed. He lives in a decadent castle, surrounded by ancient wealth, and actively seeks to expand his empire, his land, his collection of brides. He is sloth. He sleeps all day while his mortal servants, Renfield, and his brides do his bidding. He is lust, and here is where his true power lies. The vampire not only kills, he seduces. In a Victorian society terrified of sexuality, Dracula is a force of pure and unadulterated desire. His bite is not just murder. It is an act of painful ecstasy. It is a perversion of the kiss. It is intimate, penetrating, and transformative. It is no coincidence that his preferred victims are innocent and repressed women. Take Lucy Westenra. Before the vampire, she is a proper lady, struggling between educated suitors. After the bite, she is liberated. She becomes a sexual predator, seductive, powerful, and corrupt. The vampire destroys the cage of morality. It corrupts innocence and frees it from its bonds. It seduces us because it represents a life of pure and immortal desire, free from the consequences of society, and, most importantly, from God. The vampire fears hell. He is hell, and he makes it seem irresistible. It is sin without guilt. And this seduction of the taboo goes beyond the vampire. Let's think of Gordon Gekko in Wall Street. His famous speech, "Greed is Good," is a villain's sermon. It is an open and unapologetic celebration of one of the deadly sins. And it was so seductive that it inspired an entire generation of young people to become investment bankers, not despite his evil, but because of it. Let's think of the femme fatale of film noir, like Catherine Tramell in Basic Instinct. She is a predator who uses her sexuality, lust, and her intellect, pride, as lethal weapons. She is a sexualized Hannibal Lecter, and we desire her, even though we know she is the murderer. We love these villains because they are the embodiment of liberation. Evil is not an external force invading us from the screen. It is not an alien entity tempting us. Evil is a fundamental part of our own psyche. Acronym. It is Jung's shadow. It is everything we repress in order to function in society. It is our rage, our ambition, our selfishness, our cold logic, our desire for chaos, our contempt for rules. It is the basement where we lock away our own internal monster. Fiction is the only safe place where we can go down into that basement, open the cage, and let the monster out. It is the carnival. It is the masquerade. It is the psychological laboratory where we can wear the masks of the Joker, Vader, Dracula, Lecter, or Thanos, and dance with our darkest impulses without burning the real world. We do not love villains despite what they are. We love them for what they are, because what they are is a part of us. We do not love villains because we want to be like them. We love them because, in the deepest, darkest, and most unconfessable corners of our mind, we already are. They are our suppressed desire for power. They are our righteous anger. They are our forbidden logic. They are our unconfessable truth. They are our own shadow, finally freed from the cage. And for a moment, in the safety and darkness of a movie theater or in the solitude of our room, that freedom feels divine.